So, let's talk about Tom and Jerry. This new movie just came out last Friday, and it's part of Warner Brothers' whole hybrid release thing that they're doing this year, where the movies will release both in theaters and on HBO Max the same day. So, I was able to check out this movie on HBO Max, and it was a great movie. I was really looking forward to this for a long time because I love Tom and Jerry. I love these characters. I grew up watching reruns of the show on Cartoon Network, so I've had a lot of exposure to these characters, and I was excited to see what they would do to these characters in this new adaptation. So I was really excited for this, and I have to say it was a really fun movie, I'd say. Obviously it's not the greatest movie. It has its flaws, of course, but it was just a really fun movie. You can tell that it's definitely made specifically for kids, and there are some jokes in here that only kids will find funny, but I think it's a good family film. This is the good type of movie where you can just sit down with the family, have some popcorn, whatever other snack you want, and just have a good time, just be entertained. So that's what I like about it. It's just a nice, fun family movie that you can just spend time together and just watch a great movie. So again, this is definitely a reinvention of these characters, but I do think that they still keep the core elements of both Tom and Jerry while still putting kind of a modern twist on these characters. So I really like seeing that, and we've seen so many things like this before, so many live action adaptations of classic characters. We used to get live action movies about the Smurfs, and they did live action Scooby-Doo movies, and just last year we got a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. But they did it with a twist when it comes to Tom and Jerry, because usually it would just be they would do a live action adaptation of that character. But this time around, Tom and Jerry were completely animated while the rest of the characters were actual real life people. So that's kind of just the thing the way that things worked in this world that this movie was set in, which was definitely an interesting twist and a bold choice to make, because all of the animals in this movie are animated. So you have all the humans, which are completely, humans, and then every single animal is just animated, and that's just part of this world. That's just the natural thing that is a part of this world, which was an interesting choice, and I think that was a good idea, and I think it worked out really, really well with what they did with this movie. So I think it was a great idea, and I really like seeing that. But when it comes to the characters that we had in this movie, we had a great cast. This was a great cast both for the actual live action characters and the voices of the animated characters as well. You had Chloe Grace Moritz starring in the movie as Kayla, and she was a great character. I love Chloe Grace Moritz. I haven't seen her in too much, but she's a good actress, so I liked seeing her here. Same goes for Michael Pena. I love seeing him in the Ant-Man movies, so he was great here as well. And then you've got other great cast members here that you'll probably recognize, like Colin Jost and Ken Jeong, Lil Rel Howery, Bobby Cannavale. So got a great cast overall here for this movie. And all these characters were done so great, especially I think Tom and Jerry, because like I said, they really keep the core elements of these characters. First of all, they don't speak at all. These characters do not talk at all, and that's how it was in the original cartoon. So I liked seeing that, though. I think that was a good idea. And you had other pieces from the original Tom and Jerry cartoon, like some classic Tom and Jerry characters made cameos here. There was I don't remember exactly what they were called in the cartoon, but it was this gang of cats led by this cat named Butch, and then you had the really short one and the orange one, and just some really cool characters that I did not expect to see here, but you did. So those characters were here, and you also got to see, of course, Spike the bulldog. He was voiced by Bobby Cannavale, so great adaptation of that character. Really enjoyed seeing him here. And then also another classic thing from Tom and Jerry was, when it comes to Tom, he always has the devil and angel on both sides of his shoulders. So they adapted that here as well, and I think they did that really well here as well. And they also adapted the comedy from Tom and Jerry. It was just overall a funny movie, but they did a lot of classic Tom and Jerry comedy stuff. A lot of the chaos that went on between those two when they were fighting. I mean, it was a lot less violent than it was in the original cartoon, but I like seeing just those classic moves of Tom always getting injured really badly, but then recovering from it super easily. Like he literally got electrocuted and fell off a building. But no, he's fine because he's an animated cat. So I really enjoyed seeing that. And also some really cool elements here that I think were really cool references, at least when it comes to Tom, is that in this movie, Tom, really his big goal and his big dream was he wanted to play piano. He wanted to be a musician. And in the original Tom and Jerry cartoon, you always saw him playing piano multiple times. There were multiple episodes where he played piano. There was even one episode where he was actually part of an orchestra and he was performing and everything. So I thought that was a really cool reference there as well. And then I also got kind of like some Home Alone vibes here, because in this movie, Kayla actually hired Tom to kind of be the exterminator and get Jerry out of the hotel where this big wedding is happening. And one of the traps that Tom used was, it just reminded me so much of like classic Scooby-Doo, where Freddy would have like this super elaborate trap where it's like this thing makes this thing goes off, and then it's like a chain reaction to actually get to the big trap. So you saw something like that similar here with Tom trying to trap Jerry, and it was just really cool seeing this, all of these adaptations, and seeing the connections to the original Tom and Jerry. So I thought that was really cool. And one of the things that you can tell just off the trailers from this movie is that Tom and Jerry do team up. They are friends for part of this, and that's definitely a big change for the characters, because usually they're just mortal enemies. They absolutely hate each other and they're just always fighting. But they did it in a way that I think worked really well, in a way that made sense, because like there's times where they're friends and they like agree on stuff and they're like, oh, maybe we should call a truce and everything. But they're always going to be enemies. There's always going to be something that goes wrong that makes them want to fight each other. And you do see that in this movie where they do team up, but of course things do not go well and things do not go as planned. But of course it is a kids movie, so you get a happy ending and everything, so that's kind of to be expected. But overall, this was just a really fun movie, and I really enjoyed this adaptation of Tom and Jerry, and I would love to see a sequel. I don't know if it's going to happen, because so far it's really not getting great reviews so far, which I don't know why, because I think it's a good movie. I think it's a good adaptation of Tom and Jerry. It's just a really fun movie. So I would really like to see a sequel, and they kind of set that up here a little bit. I mean, not really, but they could totally do a sequel, and I would love to see that happen. Again, who knows if it actually will, but yeah, I think this was a good movie, and I'd like to see more of these characters. So, guys, I really enjoyed Tom and Jerry. Like I said, it was a really fun kind of family movie. But of course, let me know down in the comments below your own thoughts on this movie. What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? So let me know. And, of course, thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep up to date on everything that goes on in